Hello and welcome to India Hangout. Pakistani singer Ghulam Ali's concerts were cancelled in Mumbai recently following protests. Now, writer and political leader Sudheendra Kulkarni's face was blackened with ink for daring to host a book launch by ex-Pakistani Minister Khurshid, Mahmud, Kasuri, Sanjay. And Sanjay Raut, a Sena leader, said that smearing ink is a mild form of democratic protest. They are upset about ink. Imagine when our soldiers are killed and their blood is spilled. It is not ink, it is blood of our soldiers, he said. Are we a country which is forgetting what free speech is? Will the will of the people only be decided by the one who is willing to spill blood or ink, as it were? Well, that's the question we are asking and posing to our guest today, Minaz Merchant, author and columnist, right here with me in the studio, Dr. Satish Mishra, Senior Fellow at the Observer Research Foundation, Ratan Sharda, political analyst, and Shiv Sena, author and columnist. Thank you all for joining us. Minaz, let me begin with you. What is a protest? How do we define a protest anymore in this country, in this city?
I think, Govind, you've got to be very clear. Free speech is the thing which is under debate. And when you have people like Ruchir Joshi in the Economic Times and Lalu Prasad Yadav abusing the Prime Minister and talking all kinds of stuff, right or wrong, against the PM, the BJP, the ruling government, then free speech is very, very safe in the country. Now, protest is a form of free activism. The Aam Aadmi Party, the TMC, the left, all of them have engaged in the most terrible protest. Now, if the protest crosses a line, the red line, which is violence, the moment you intrude into another person's physical space, that is not a protest, that becomes a criminal activity. You can't touch another person.
Yeah.
So that's violence.
So this is violence?
This is violence.
Okay.
You can't touch another person.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But the point is that violence has been perpetrated in our country under the guise of political protests and movements by the TMC, the left, the Congress, AAP, and so on.
Right.
And these
which is why I asked you in the beginning, I said, what is a protest anymore?
It's not a protest.
Yeah.
This is actually an intrusion of a person's
physical space.
Privacy and physical space.
Okay.
Not acceptable.
Right. Okay. Ratan Sharda, let me get your views here. How do you look at this from your vantage point? Is a protest no longer something that doesn't cross the borders of physical proximity?
See, let me clarify that I am not in no way at all advocating what Shiv Sena has done, because to voice your protest, there are various ways in a democratic norm. You should be, taking on people with debates and discussions or peaceful protest. But having said that, Shiv Sena raised a very valid point that why this kind of discussion is held only when we are protesting against people like Kasuri, who has a very poor background in terms of a relationship with India. He is one of the core team members who was involved in 26/11 attacks. He is the one he's part of ISI establishment. So why are we promoting commercial interest of a person who is basically anti-India?
Right.
Why it is only the responsibility of Indians to promote Pakistanis? Has Pakistan ever given option of Indian artists performing in Pakistan?
Right.
Have they ever given, for example, in 2003, Jagjit Singh protested against Pakistani artists being given free run in India but not being given in Pakistan for Indian artists. But Mr. Advani didn't do anything at that time. So there is this issue, which is a larger issue of how Pakistan is looking at India. How is it looking at the culture of India? It is pure commercial exploitation. Kasuri hasn't come on a peace mission. He has come on a commercial mission, unfortunately, to which Shiv Sena has put more contribution by making it famous and famous. It's a mistaken way of protesting.
Right. Yeah. So and that's my limited question for now, Ratanji. Because I'm talking about Sudheendra Kulkarni, who I also know personally. I mean, it was his face that was blackened, and as we've agreed with Minaz here, I mean, that's really something. It is violence. It's not even bordering on violence, because it is violence. It's a violation of a person's space. And so many other things.
Very well. From the time he was assistant to Mr. Advani, so all that is fine. But I am saying, why should our intellectual leaders try to promote commercial interests of people who are basically anti-Indian? That is the larger issue.
Okay. Let me get some more views. Dr. Mishra, would you like to come in on that?
Yes. Protest is a fundamental right. Agreed. But then, what kind of a protest is being done? This fine differentiation between commercial interest and national interest. I mean, after all, who is representing the national interest? That is the question. Shiv Sena condemns, he has a right to protest, but what is this? You go and blacken the face. I, for one, would be congratulating Sudheendra Kulkarni that he is saying that you have the right to protest. Let me go ahead with my right to freedom of expression and presenting something which I think correct. Now, who has a contract of national interest? Everybody is saying that I have the national interest at my heart. The rest of them are anti-nationals or what? I mean, that's what the Shiv Sena is wanting to tell everybody.
Right.
This is not the way.
Nobody called you anti-national. Point is, there is a way of looking at interest of India. So if somebody says it's not in favor of India, doesn't make you anti-national at all. You're a researcher, you're an analyst. You should not speak such language.
I mean, what
Attack on him is condemnable, but I am saying the larger issue is something different.
what is the national interest? Rest of them don't know what is national interest.
Right.
What kind of peace match you're talking about?
Gentlemen, can you hold your thought there for a moment? Minas, let me come back to you. So let's take a step back, right? So there is an act or an event that's happened, and there is the whole philosophy behind it, and so on. Why do we inevitably mix the two?
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Yeah.
The thing is that, Pakistan...
This is okay, it shouldn't have happened, but what was he doing here? He's here on a commercial trip. And the inference is that obviously anyone who associated with the minister, Mahmud Kasuri, should have therefore had something befell him. I mean, if not blackened. Yeah.
No, the thing, Govind, is that we get confused. Number one, the first principle is you have the right to protest. Nobody has a right to commit violence.
Sure.
All that is there. Now, Kasuri is a man, as we all know, who was a foreign minister in the Musharraf government. He was there till 2007 when the planning for 26/11, the terror attack on our city, was well underway with David Headley and others. So he is complicit in the terror infrastructure of Pakistan. Now, this man is therefore complicit in terrorism.
The protest could have been aimed at him, isn't it?
Not only aimed at him, but peacefully.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, emulate a criminal.
Yeah.
If Pakistan is a rogue state and they have the Taliban and they behead people and they kill Shias, they kill Ahmadis who are outlawed by the Constitution 72. But
I don't think there's any debate on that.
No, but the point I'm trying to make is that because you have a man like Kasuri who's so clearly an objectionable person because of his role in Musharraf, though he's himself a peacenik and so on. Therefore, the protest should have been aimed at him peacefully. And, I believe in live and let live, read and let read, and write and let write.
Okay. So, Ratanji, let me put the question a little differently. Now, Kasuri was here because he was given a visa by the government of India. And a lot of people are denied visas to enter India. So he is here. Now, commercial mission, non-commercial mission, the fact is he is here. So surely we could protest against his arrival in a peaceful manner, or we don't allow him to come in the first place. Now, the fact that he is here already should suggest that as a country we've taken a call that he should be here to express his opinion or sell his book or whatever, isn't it?
Yes. I totally agree. So when he has got a visa, and when the government has allowed him to have this program, then it's duty of the Maharashtra government to give him right security and protection. There is no doubt about it. Whether it's right or wrong, whether he should have been invited or not, or whether he should release the book in India, not in Pakistan, that's something they need to ask. Why does he need? Because he needs the thousands of copies sold in India, so he comes to release the book. He doesn't release it in Pakistan. So look at the background. But yes, once he arrived, then we should take care of the guest. And I have no doubt about it. And we can protest peacefully. And we should protest. We should voice our concern why these people are on one side playing to ISI with India's security. On the other side, we are putting red carpets to them. It's a question we need to ask them.
Right. Okay. Tuhin, how do you view this? I mean, where do you stand? What kind of protests? Where do you stretch the definition of a protest? And where do you stretch the definition of violence as we've seen today?
In principle, opposing the kind of platform that is being given to Kasuri is not entirely unjustified. So Shiv Sena had its reasons. It's about the means. If I were to advise the Shiv Sena, I think the Shiv Sena should have demanded postponement of the event. They should have read the book, and they should have actually demanded that they be a part of the discussion and grill the External Affairs Minister of Mr. Kasuri on all the lies that would be there, that would possibly be there in the book. I think that would have been a better way than to, throw black paint on Mr. Kulkarni.
But Mr. Tuhin, problem is that Shiv Sena knows only this kind of protest because they don't have intellectual capital to discuss it, in a more reasoned manner.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think
I was actually going to
somewhere come to an end because in today's world you can't resort to such means. You actually end up defeating the purpose by resorting to such means.
Right,
So
okay.
while your intentions of while the reason for your protest may be valid, the means that you adopt actually ends up defeating the purpose.
Okay, hold your thought there. Minaz, Shiv Sena has a binary approach to issues. It's either 1 or 0 or all or none, right? And if it's none, it's you face the consequences as we decide what the consequences are. So what kind of society are we living in? I know this is not the first time this question is being asked.
We are living in a good society, but there are lumpen elements in the Shiv Sena. There are lumpen elements in AAP. There are lumpen elements in the TMC. The kind of violence that is done
But
in
on
Bengal,
Pakistan, I think Sena takes a position and
on Pakistan, yes, and it takes a,
I mean,
a
on
tough,
Ghulam Ali,
tough
it was
stand.
a- it-
because
yeah.
you see, going in our political sort of ambit, we have many parties on the left, but we have very few parties who are center-right. The BJP is one of them. The Shiv Sena is ultra-right. In America, the Republicans are right, the Democrats are left, and that's binary. They're equal left, equal right. In India, the weighing balance is 80% left and 20% right. So therefore, there's a great deal of resentment. This is the core issue people forget. A huge amount of resentment among the majority community that minorities have been appeased. Manmohan Singh says resources should be given to minorities. I'm not a part of the majority, so again, like I said last time, I can be neutral. But it's stupid to appease minorities and not empower them, because if you appease them, neither are they going to be happy, the Muslims and the Christians.
but why should all of that lead to
hang on.
blackening of faces?
And at the same time, Hindus are going to be upset because they'll have this well of resentment that Muslims and Christians are being appeased, not empowered, and they feel like second-class citizens in their own country. So all of this leads to this huge amount of resentment. When you have a lumpen party on the right or on the left, and you see on the left the kind of violence they do in Bengal, it's much worse than what the Shiv Sena is doing.
Okay, so let's address the conceptual issue for a moment. Ratan Sharda, let me come to you. So is there a fundamental problem in the way the majority community is not being taken care of, because of which certain right-wing elements will express their frustration in a manner that is fairly predictable now?
Govind, I'd like to object to the way you people are framing the question by saying no place of freedom is very, very, negative approach to
Free speech.
how much freedom we have in India. Remember, none of the liberals, none of the channels really took up the issue in a big way when A.R. Rahman was banned. Nobody talked about this when the hands of a Christian professor chopped off. So this selective kind of approach and even small incidents blown out of proportion, talking about freedom being under threat, I think this kind of approach, alarmist approach, must stop. You must have a reasoned argument like you're having, but the title of the whole talk itself smells of, talking about creating alarmist view of the society.
No.
It's not
So
right.
we are saying that, this is two quick events, right? So Ghulam Ali concert banned a couple of weeks ago. Sudheendra Kulkarni's face blackened. Sudheendra Kulkarni is not an ordinary party worker or something like that. He's eminent, he's distinguished, he's an IIT graduate, and as you yourself pointed out, he worked with Atal Bihari Vajpayee, former Prime Minister of India. So, we're not talking about ordinary people here, and this is not a sort of a gang, dispute being settled on a street corner.
Well, but on that we have all agreed that it's not the right way to protest. There is no doubt about it. On this, all the panelists are agreed.
Okay. Satish Mishra, let
That's the
me
question.
come to you. Are we sort of resigned to a binary approach, where if the Sena were to decide, or parties like the Sena were to take a certain position on an issue, that is it? There is no further scope for discussion, debate, and it is either goes that way, or really my way, or the highway.
That is the most unfortunate part of it. Now, while you go to elections and appeal to people to vote for you, then you bother about people, then after that you come to power, you forget all democratic means. The fact of the matter is that they should propose something and there should be discussion for it, and then only one can formulate an opinion. Now here Shiv Sena adopts this because they can adopt violent means. Or they become violent because And the kind of discussions that is taking place, that look, we will not allow this. And an elected government in Maharashtra doesn't have the guts to stop it and allow an event to take place. Now, that is the most unfortunate part. That is absolutely anti-democratic.
Mr. Mishra, remember the Raza Academy riots? You remember the Raza Academy riots?
We cannot
Police women were molested. What did the government do? It's a question of law and order. Politicians who are in the government have no willpower. That's the problem.
Speak. You will not allow me to speak.
Congress is in power. Shiv Sena the Raza Academy was not taking action on. People know no action will be taken. That is the tragedy of this Indian law system. That these agitators know that nothing will happen after 1 month or 2 months. They will just go to court for 10 years and things will be boiled down. That is the tragedy of our legal system.
I fully agree with you. That is the tragedy.
So whether it's Shiv Sena or Raza Academy, problem remains
Mr.
same.
Sharda, can I come in here? You know, the concern is, so one is the violent acts. My concern is that the violent acts that, the lumpen elements perpetrate gets the intellectual cover from other people who are clearly, participating in television debates like this. Mr. Sharda?
I missed the point. Sorry, I thought you were talking to somebody else.
No, my point was that, you may have the Shiv Sena perpetrating violence or deciding how it wants to protest on a certain issue. But my concern is, and I think the concern of many people is, that it gets, these acts get the intellectual cover from, people who really come into television debates like this, point to the larger set of problems, point to the fact that, yes, we've obviously got a long and checkered history with Pakistan, and therefore, you should be looking at all sides, you should be looking at history, you should be looking at other similar incidents and so on.
Point one is that this has been happening for long years, that agitators, whether in Kerala or in Bengal or in Bihar, know that they will get away with these kind of violent attitudes, and they know that any nuisance they create will ultimately not lead to any any court charge. They will have to face the law. They know this. So Shiv Sena is following the same path, and it's a political game. They want to show they are much more patriotic than anybody else. So that's a political one-upmanship, which had to be discouraged by calling such debates on these issues. We are giving the space which it is not required.
Okay.
I say that any kind of these fringe activities that happen, we should not take it so seriously, create an alarmist view that will lead them to the limelight they wanted.
Okay, great. So let me come back to the conceptual question. I think I've addressed one conceptual point with you, Minaz. The second one, are we a country where we have free speech as we are guaranteed by our constitution?
I can't imagine a country
but free is also not getting beaten up at the end of it.
Yeah, but how many people are getting beaten up? Not that many compared to the kind of freedom of abuse. For 15 years, all that I've heard is abuse and vilification.
Why should it be absolute?
It's not absolute because at the moment, the BJP is the recipient of abuse. And the Congress, for the past 30 years, and I know the Congress quite well, have engaged, whether it's a Sikh pogrom in '84, whether it's a Kashmiri Pandits being driven out of the valley under the tutelage of the Congress and other party, Farooq Abdullah. They have gotten away literally with murder, and no one has protested. Now, when the BJP is in power, of course they've done certain wrong things. The Shiv Sena is an ally, and they should be condemned. We're all condemning them. But the balance is so completely awry that I think it's the fault of the media. The media is very left-leaning. They are self-destructive because the very people they want to help, Muslims, are being actually demonized in doing so.
Why do you say left-leaning and polarized?
Because the media, virtually every channel is left-leaning.
Okay.
They have, secularism in our country.
What is left-leaning? Can you define that?
Yeah, left-leaning means...
economically, socially?
See, I personally am left-leaning socially. I believe in abortion, free choice, gay marriage, everything. Completely social liberal. And that's the background I come from. But on economics, you have to be right or center. Because when you grow the GDP pie bigger, and you're going to do that with free market economics, right wing, not the stupid socialism of Indira Gandhi.
Why is what you're saying a contradiction?
Therefore, you are dead center. I'm dead center. Yeah. Left social, right economics. So all these things. No, but left leaning, they're left everything.
Okay.
And the point is that their only agenda. You see, secularism is the most abused word in our country. Secularism is for Hindus.
Right.
They've got to be secular. But Muslims don't have to be secular. They have their own personal laws. They have the Sharia.
Okay.
And the hand will be cut off. But they don't have that. Personal law, yes.
Okay.
Talaq, talaq,
Okay.
talaq.
It's a long-
so that is an extremely dangerous path to go down.
Right. Okay. And it's a different path for a discussion like this as well.
Absolutely.
Tuhin, let me come to you and let me come back to the first question that we started with. Is this a country with free speech?
Absolutely. India is far more free and far more democratic than any other country. But I want to take the discussion to another level. I think it would help if you sometime also get Sudheendra Kulkarni and ask him what was the objective of the session. Was it to glorify Mr. Kasuri? Was it to buy his theories at face value? What was it? I would like to know. I have known Mr. Sudheendra Kulkarni for the last 5 or 6 years. While I have immense respect for him as a human being, I also know that somewhere, he likes to rub people a little bit the wrong way. And I think it would have really helped if, I don't imagine he would not have anticipated these kind of protests. I think it would have helped if he too would have really planned it well and not make it seem like it was a one-way platform that he was giving to Mr. Kasuri.
Right.
And having said that, I really condemn what has happened, and I repeat, this was by no means the way to protest. But I think the onus was also on the organizer to explain what was it they were trying to achieve with this event.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that's a question that I will put to him when I get hold of him. Dr. Mishra, we're sort of going in for closing comments. We started by asking, is this a country for free speech? How would you like to respond?
Asking me?
Yes.
Hello?
Dr. Mishra?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. The question was for you.
The question was for me. Yes. We are very proud that we have a democratic system where everyone has a freedom of expression, one can express. And the fact remains that whether the event was planned properly or not, that may be a default. But by protesting in this way, the Shiv Sena has only helped, if one can interpret that way, Kasturi's book. The kind of advertisement that it has got, the kind of publicity that it has received, is unprecedented. It has indirectly helped the person whom they wanted to condemn. That is the...
So Sudheendra has scored a point for himself, isn't it?
Sudheendra maybe not, I will not say, but at least...
Ratanji, Ratan Sharda, can I come to you? 2 questions. So one is, what is your description of a free speech or a country with free speech? Secondly, what is it that we can do, at the cost of asking a question that has been asked many times before, to bring about more harmony in the way we protest, in the way we respond to things we don't like, and in the way we respect other people's positions?
So me or Tuhin?
That's for you, Mr. Sharda.
Okay. See, point 1 is that freedom of speech should be applied to all equally. It should not be partial. It should not be partial or biased to one community or the other. That creates kind of friction and inherent anger in the community, which is bypassed because it is supposed to take all the responsibility of freedom of speech, all the responsibility of being fair to people. So this has to be fair for everybody in the community, for the whole nation. Point 1. Point 2, the law has to be strong. If somebody tries to break this harmony, they have to taken fast, and people should be punished fast, whether it's communal riots, whether it's expression of opinion, or whether it's a small nuisance or violent agitation like Raza Academy. Action has to be taken. The government should have will that people should fear law, that fear of law is gone. And let us be fair to all the communities. But now, same Mr. Sudheendra Kulkarni, whom I also respect a lot, supported the murder of Charlie Hebdo cartoonist. For a person who tries to be a peacenik, is this the way to, support somebody at the same time? On the other end, he comes and talks about these kind of protests and, cries his heart out about Kasuri and all. So we have to be balanced on this approach. While I condemn all this, the point is that we only secular only when we support particular community? Are we secular only we start condemning everything that is done by some other community? This has to go. It has to be purely objective, whichever community, right or wrong.
Okay.
Then
great.
things will fall into place one by one.
Great. Thank you. Last word, Minaz. Is this all falling into place? the way.
Read the headlines tomorrow. You'll find the most critical headlines in the papers. So that dovetails with your argument. Are we
left
country
leaning?
with free speech? Of course we are. Free, freer, and freest in the country. Watch a television channel, any debate tonight on any channel, Hindi or English or regional, and you'll find the most critical comments in debate after debate on what's happened this evening.
Okay.
Or this morning, actually, the blackening.
So, but that doesn't prevent this from happening again.
No, but that's because the rule of law is not the second question you asked to him, not to me. But the answer is that the rule of law must prevail. The rule of law means the police reforms, and there's a whole history of stuff that has to be done. But the rule of law means you have to apply it equally, whether it's the Congress, to the BJP, to anyone. Violence, it's a criminal procedure code matter. If you engage in violence, if I hit you, then I should be booked for FIR.
Right.
If I blacken your face or you blacken my face, not acceptable. The only violence we can tolerate is verbal. And that verbal violence, you'll see lots of this evening and tomorrow morning, all aimed at the Shiv Sena and the BJP.
Right. Okay. Anyway, I won't sort of pursue you on that one, at least not today. Thank you so much, Minhas. Thank you, Dr. Mishra. Thank you, Ratan Sharda and Tuhin Sinha. We've run out of time, hoping, of course, that the rule of law will prevail and be respected at all times by everyone, for everyone. That's all we have time on India Hangout. We'll be back very soon. Thanks for watching.